but you were a domestic student when going into university, and I think that's where my first question was like, you lived at home and you said that you had to make that commute, you were scared for the exams, everything. For the people, for the 80% of the people who live on campus, what do you think, how would you like describe their experience compared to someone who lives off campus or like lives with their parents like an hour ago?
Right. So if you there, so great question. I think this is something that I discussed with my parents and my younger brother, who is going to university right now. Um, they're both sides, like living downtown or living. Sorry, when I say living downtown, living near your university. Maybe your university might be uptown or might be in a city that, and you're living there versus like your parents live in another city or another suburb. Uh, Both sides have their advantage and disadvantage. For me, particularly, I think I would have enjoyed living closer to university. I, at least for the first year, like just to have that experience, I really, really would have enjoyed it. So I can't talk about like what the exact experience was living downtown for a lot of these students, but sometimes I would see myself in comparison with my peers on like what they could do versus what I was doing, and the differences were significant enough for me to like say that, hey, I would have probably benefited more if I lived downtown. Sorry.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think so as we touched upon it, even in our last episode a little bit, there are benefits we can see from the social side of things, from the cultural side of things, as he mentioned that he discussed with his parents. And now that we know a bit about you, we know that, you weren't in the best financial standings. What do you think is the financial cost? Like let's take U of T as an example for now, because
Right.
of course we know more about it, and let's see like
Right.
what was the financial cost of living in downtown?
Right. So yeah. So as I think one of the things, like I had to manage my education costs. I was not going to ask my parents for money for education. So University of Toronto engineering for domestic students first year was around, I would like to say it was around 15K. 15K associated with like additional costs of like maybe like $1,000 of like book like other fees. So like $16,000 was your yearly fee. I had a bit of OSAP, and for anyone who is not aware of what an OSAP is, it's the Ontario Student Assistance Programs, which is like a loan that you get from the government that you don't have to pay back till you graduate. So you can get this loan from Ontario government just within Ontario. So I used that, but that didn't cover all of my financial costs either. So OSAP only covered half of it. So I had to manage the other half of my tuition costs. So OSAP covered around like, I would like to say 6K or 7K per year. And I had to come up with the other bit. So like the first thing that I did was like for finance wise, I had to look for scholarships. Like when I was before going to university, I was hounding for scholarships. I was fortunate enough that I had like decent grades so that like when I got into university, I had like the entrance scholarship, which was, I believe, closer to like 5K. And then I had some other additional scholarships that I wrote. Like, I wrote essays and whatnot. By the way, it's really easy to get these scholarships, which I will touch upon on a different video, because like I don't want to convolute this one thing. But I managed to get like these mini scholarships, which ended up giving me a bit of money for just to get enough by so that I could pay my tuition and like the additional costs. Once I had the basic finance, like once I had the basic educational costs done, I realized that I needed about like $300 to $400 for books and like all like stationaries and books and stuff. So I had to like save that money somehow. So what I did was like before joining university, that summer I ended up working, and I was working at Winners as a sales associate. So that ended up giving me some money to like cover for the next year.
Is that why Winners is going down?
Yeah, bro. I don't know why you ever take the. I had the most Like I think I was the youngest kid in the entire store. Everyone else in the store was like in their like mid-20s, mid-30s. Like they were like discussing, oh, I drove at 80 on a 60 zone. I got a speeding ticket. I'm like, bro, I'm taking the bus here every day. I don't know what kind of luxury that is, like driving 80 on a 60 and getting a ticket and you're complaining about that. Mans are out here trying to live by, trying to gather money for university. That, oh my goodness, horrendous. Sorry, would not like to like jump into that. Winners, if you're watching this video, or anyone from Winners, if you're watching this video, shout out. But like, if you would like to sponsor us, 100% wouldn't deny it. Winners Associates go through a lot. Anywho, sorry, going back.
Yeah.
Definitely. So obviously there was like that financial aspect. So like I saved a bit of money by working for the next summer. So like I had a bit of money in my pockets. Finally, so then that's where I was at, and then I was like debating at that point where like if I should live downtown, but financially at that moment in time in my life, it didn't make much sense for me to live downtown because, as I said, like I think my parents, like financially we were never like struggling, but we weren't like filthy rich. Like
Right.
to me living downtown while having a place within Greater Toronto area was a luxury. And this is so not true for a lot of people. I would like to just say that like that was true for me, just because of the financial situation that we were in. Anywho, so I lived uptown. My commute was like an hour and a half, but I think I saved more so on like about, I would like to say $1,500-$1,600 a monthly rent at the time.
Yeah.
Plus, on top of that, food. People don't consider this. Food is expensive. Groceries is expensive. It adds up. Like I lived downtown Toronto, like during one of my internship years, like for like 4 months, and it really adds up. Like your rent plus food makes you want to cry. But I saved on that bit of money. Where I spent most of my money, I would like to say, was like I spent it on eating out. And I did that mostly because like I didn't want to bring food all the way, because bringing food all the way from home to university was like an hour and a half commute. So that food would have gone bad. I tried doing that once or twice, and like the food went bad. So I was like, yeah, no, this is not a viable option. So I saved a bit of money per month, like I kept like about $100 to $150 per month for myself, for just like sustaining food and whatnot. So I think if you just work like one summer before university, like with casual shifts, like I would say if you work like 30 hours a week or so, you should have enough saved up for you should, even 30 hours a week for minimum wage should cover you enough if you're living with your parents, like for the next whole year, like for your basic costs. One last thing that I did was like every weekend I did tutor some kids. I'm not going to name them out, but I have sent them these videos. So if you're watching this, I would still like to say tutoring those kids was probably one of the most humbling experience that I've ever had. And my kids, they're actually, I would like to call them my kids, but like they're going to university now, and I'm so proud of them. So yeah, that's how I made like a bit of
Yeah, I mean, the side jobs is definitely a great experience. So it's great for you because not only does it like give you the money that you need during university, but it also creates that experience, as well as sometimes an emotional connection in most cases, right? So and you make friends from it. You can make friends from work, and that's always useful outside of university as well.